In 1994, two computer science PhD students at Stanford, David Filo and Jerry Yang, started to catalog a number of websites and published this directory for free on a website and named it Jerry and David's Guide to the World Wide Web, which was later renamed Yahoo. The name Yahoo was an acronym for Yet Another Hierarchical Officious Oracle, and the word hierarchical here describes the way Yahoo arranged its database into hierarchies of categories and subcategories. Yahoo experienced a meteoric rise, and within a year of its operations, attracted hundreds of thousands of users. It generated most of its revenue by selling ads to marketers. Initially, advertisers paid a humble fee of $200 for 1,000 impressions of an ad. But between 1996 and 1997, the number of views on Yahoo's homepage increased from 9 million to 36 million, while the advertisers grew from 230 to 1,700. As a result, Yahoo started charging premium rates for its ad space, and the monthly ad rates rose from $6,000 to $20,000 per account. By the early 2000s, Yahoo became the most visited site in the world. But a series of wrong decisions turned this internet giant into a complete failure. The first such decisions was to position Yahoo as a media company. Since Yahoo's primary source of revenue was earning through its ad space, the executives at Yahoo always thought of it as a media company rather than a technology company. This positioning strategy distracted Yahoo from the opportunities presented by search engines. For example, in 1998, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, founders of Google, offered to sell Google's search algorithm to Yahoo for only $1 million. But Yahoo didn't see the value of the innovative search engine and flatly refused the offer. Furthermore, being a media company, Yahoo never took programming seriously. Back in the day, when all the tech firms were obsessed with hiring the best programmers, Yahoo was taken over and run by executives and middle managers. As a result, it often ended up building solutions that weren't very good. Under the influence of this culture, it wasn't surprising when Terry Semel, a non-tech executive from Warner Brothers, was hired as CEO by Yahoo. Terry Semel was not familiar with the new world of internet, and under him, Yahoo's strategic mistakes were multiplied. Soon after joining Yahoo, founders David Filo and Jerry Yang suggested that Terry should look at buying Google, whose search engine technology at the time was used by Yahoo. Terry offered $3 billion for Google, but its founders demanded $5 billion. Terry thought the company was overpriced and turned down the deal. Another strategic blunder committed by Terry Semel was the lost chance to take over Facebook in 2006. In an attempt to acquire Facebook, which at the time had 7 million subscribers, Terry offered $850 million for the social networking platform. Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, asked for $1 billion, which was again refused by Terry. Eventually, Terry had to resign from his position as CEO in 2007. Another set of bad strategic decisions relates to a series of acquisitions that Yahoo made during the dot-com bubble. In 1999, Yahoo bought Broadcasting.com, an internet radio streaming company, at an alarmingly high price of $5.7 billion. At this rate, Yahoo paid approximately $10,000 for every monthly subscriber of the platform. This was Yahoo's most expensive acquisition and is since referred to as one of the worst internet acquisitions ever. To make things worse, Yahoo couldn't manage the streaming service properly and had to shut it down in 2002. The same year, Yahoo acquired GeoCities, a web hosting service, for $3.6 billion. GeoCities at the time was the third most visited site in the world. But soon after its acquisition, GeoCities users began to quit en masse in protest to the new terms of service specified by Yahoo, and eventually this service also died little by little. Another major reason behind Yahoo's failure was their business strategy. Between 2005 and 2010, a time when new internet startups were rapidly emerging and investing heavily in their core business, Yahoo was busy investing its profits into other tech startups. In 2005, Yahoo spent $1 billion to buy a 46% stake in a Chinese e-commerce startup called Alibaba. On the other hand, Google was thriving by outspending Yahoo in terms of capital expenditure. By 2010, Google was spending 6 times the amount Yahoo was spending on its core business. Its spending on capital expenditure increased from $800 million to $4 billion within 5 years. During the same time, their cash flows increased from $2 billion to $11 billion. On the other hand, Yahoo spending on core business increased from $400 million to just $700 million, while their cash flows decreased from $1.5 billion to $1 billion. In 2008, Yahoo was offered another great opportunity, perhaps the last one, when Microsoft offered to buy all of Yahoo's business for $44 billion. But the founders refused the offer, pointing out that it does not represent a fair price for Yahoo. During the next decade, Yahoo tried everything from hiring new CEO from its rival Google to making further acquisitions, but none of them were able to return Yahoo to the spot it held during the 90s. In 2017, Yahoo had to sell its core business to Verizon for only $4.4 billion, an amount 10 times lower than what it was worth a decade ago. That's all for this week. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your suggestions in the comments box below. We'll meet next week with a new video. Until then, goodbye.